Hello guys, and welcome to another discussion video. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't react to the Game Awards, cause that was pretty disappointing. Cause like not only was there like absolutely no Nintendo games, there wasn't really anything interesting outside of Sonic. Like, with going back to Nintendo, the only Nintendo related thing there was the trailers, the two trailers that they showed in the actual Game Awards, and the Monster Hunter trailer. I think I said something earlier about like the Monster Hunter trailer being like the only Nintendo related thing, but yeah, that's pretty disappointing. I mean, like, I guess a lot of leakers, I guess, were kind of hyping up like Breath of the Wild 2, something Zelda related, or even Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but we got nothing, like, not even updates on games like Kirby or Advance Wars or something like that. I would have been fine with something little like that. At least it's better than just nothing. But the one interesting thing that was there that was announced was Sonic 2 and Sonic Frontiers. And I think Sonic 2 looks really good. It looks like a great sequel to the first movie and everything. It seems to be expanding the story of the first game in a really good way, in the way they introduce Tails and Knuckles and everything. And I think it looks great. I'm really excited about it. That will be coming out this spring. And just overall, the Sonic movie was one of the few good video game movies. I guess there's more video game movies that are actually good now, but that's one of the few video game movies that I actually like. And I'm glad that it's getting a sequel that looks pretty good so far. And Sonic Frontiers, I think it looks great. I'm not really too big into Sonic, but I know that the last few games have been controversial, and just the state of the series overall is pretty controversial. Like, Sonic Forces wasn't pretty well received. I heard it was pretty mediocre or even bad. And it seems like this new game is going for a more open world approach, and it seems to be doing a lot of new things, and I just really like how it looks so far. It looks really good, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's supposed to come out in holiday 2022. But going back to the announcements, it just, even outside of Nintendo, there wasn't really many third-party games, or there wasn't really much diversity between like the different types of games. It just seems like realistic shooter after realistic shooter. It's just like, it was pretty boring. Like, I mean, occasionally there was like the fantasy action adventure game and like the survival horror game, and it just seems pretty, like, I mean, there were a couple good announcements out of those, but there was nothing really too notable. Like, I mean, obviously there are some, like, I guess, like Elden Ring, I guess, was more, notable, but I'm honestly not really interested in it, and I am surprised that Breath of the Wild 2 lost for the most anticipated game. That was definitely the show a new trailer for Elden Ring. There's no other way that game could have won for that, because Breath of the Wild 2, I'm seeing discussion. I know I'm kind of within a Nintendo bubble on Twitter, but like, just overall, that's the game I mostly see people talking about, like, for games coming up. Like, out of all of those games there, I know, I would even say there's a lot of games that weren't nominated that are talked about more than Elden Ring in some of the other games that were there, but just overall, it's just really weird that Breath of the Wild lost for that category. One category that I'm happy about, obviously, is the action-adventure genre, and Metroid Dread won for that, and that was pretty good. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that It Takes Two won Game of the Year, but, because I was really hoping for Metroid Dread. I did kind of have a feeling that it wasn't going to be another Nintendo game this year, or I guess a Nintendo game, because there hasn't been a Nintendo game that was the Game of the Year since 2017, but yeah, pretty disappointing that Metroid Dread only won Action Adventure, but it's still good that it won at least one award. I'm glad that it kind of, Nintendo wasn't completely out of like the awards and everything, one thing that I was really surprised about, I guess not too surprised about it now since the game won Game of the Year, but It Takes Two won Best Family Game, and it was competing against Mario Party Superstars, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, New Pokemon Snap. I think New Pokemon Snap was a part of that, but it seems really weird that it lost against Mario games. It just, like, I know It Takes Two is a pretty good game. I haven't played it, but what I've seen of it, it looks pretty good. But, really? It's like, all the other games there were just as well received by, like, the general public and everything than It Takes Two. I mean, even though It Takes Two has a higher Metacritic score and everything, it's just overall, most people, like, most fans of like video games in general, I think if it was up to like most fans and everything, Mario Party Superstars or Bowser's Fury probably would have won. And yeah, it just seems really surprising that one non-Nintendo game beat out 4 other Nintendo games for one category. That like almost never happens. And basically, it's just like Nintendo was only showing those trailers. That was basically like Nintendo Switch has games. It was basically that over again. I wouldn't say that the trailers that Nintendo showed were as painful as Nintendo Switch have games and everything, because like they did show that there were going to be a lot of games in 2022, and I'm glad that Nintendo kind of acknowledged that, and they kind of acknowledged that 2022 was going to be a big year and everything, and Breath of the Wild 2 is still confirmed for 2022. But yeah, they didn't really have anything to offer, and like I feel like part of the blame of that is on the leakers, because like they basically, or I guess leakers is in quotations, because they weren't even leaking anything. It was just rumors, fake rumors, and everything like that. That Xenoblade Chronicles 3 or Breath of the Wild 2 was going to get a new trailer. A lot of people were expecting that. Personally, I wasn't expecting much at all. Like, I mean, I was expecting nothing, and I was still disappointed by this. There was like one meme, I think, of that, but yeah, I was expecting almost nothing to happen, and it's just weird how Nintendo is having advertisements and showing things off at the Game Awards. I guess it's either the Game Awards is really bad at selecting games, because there wasn't really anything, like I said earlier, there wasn't really much notable from the other companies either. It was just pretty generic games, and Nintendo, they didn't show anything from Nintendo too, so I think most of the blame for all of the announcements there was probably on the Game Awards itself. And just overall, I don't know why they just went for the just most generic announcements, and it wasn't really diverse at all. Like, I mean, there were a couple games from like really different genres, but overall, it just felt like the same thing over and over again, and I was getting tired of just watching that for hours. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.